Hey IndyCar Garage fans, we're back with one of our former IndyCar Garage Weekly guests and a fan favorite here at IMS, John Andretti. And John joins us on a rainy Wednesday, but hopefully more track activity is on the horizon. John, first I want to talk a little bit about the Andretti Racing name, and more or less, you know, you got Mario and Michael and Marco, Jeff, yourself, but the next generation of Andrettis could include your son. Talk a little bit about what it means to watch your son grow up and kind of follow in your footsteps, and you know, just anything along those lines.
Well, I'll tell you, actually my son didn't follow in my footsteps. He was playing soccer and doing all those things, and actually a quite good soccer player. He was a center mid and played on academy level. He played different places. He was going to play on his varsity team and played on for a couple other years before that. And I got a go-kart because I knew I was going to be pulling back on my racing activities, and I needed something to kind of get, you know, keep my blood flowing. And he wanted to go with me, and he took over to go-kart and won the championship in it. Got into USAC Midget, courtesy of USAC. They had a house car and took a liking to that. Fortunately for me, we have a good friend, Tracy Trotter, and who owned a couple USAC Ford Focus midgets. He got in there and just took off like a rocket, and he just won recently. So we're having a lot of fun together. It sort of like reminds me of the days when my dad and I hung out together, and because we're doing something that I not only enjoy, but I also know probably more about than anything else, which is a little bit embarrassing, but you know, it's something we can do together, and I'm having a good time at that. Hopefully we can create the same relationship my father and I have.
Now, John, you're still very competitive in race cars, but your schedule isn't what it used to be. Talk a little bit about your perspective when you come to Indy. Do you consider yourself at an advantage just doing one race a year, or on the flip side, is it kind of a struggle to catch back up in terms of everything that, you know, maybe a full-time driver doesn't have access to? I mean, you're fresh and you come in, you're ready to drive, but at the same time, you know, you mentioned on a radio show that sometimes the experience of just maybe like pit stops is invaluable. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think for sure it's a disadvantage. I mean, you're coming into their game, they're on a roll. They've sort of, whether they've had a good start of the season or a bad start, I mean, everybody loves getting to Indy. I know Marco, you think that he just woke up yesterday and been totally revived when he comes here, because he just, you know, he's like me, he just loves being here, and I think that's the way a lot of other drivers feel. The biggest issue is the things that you don't do at speed, you know, pit stops and all the other things, getting in the pit box right, doing those things. We're already practicing them now because Marco doesn't need to practice them. He knows how to do it. He's done it for several weeks already, and year in and year out full time. Me, it's learning everything about you know, what I can do inside the car again, and all the tools that I do have, because when you race NASCAR, you don't have as many adjustments or things that you can do by the rules. It's a new adventure, but I think that, yeah, part of it is I do come in fresh, but on the other side, it's you know, anytime you race somebody that's been at it for a while, they're always going to have a leg up because they have that little extra bit of confidence to push the limits, come into the pits, getting out of the pits, and also getting in their pit stop.
You experienced double file restarts in NASCAR, and you're going to get your first dose of double file restarts for this month's Indy 500. Talk a little bit about what you think that's going to be like, and you know, the rumors, the grumblings. Drivers don't want them, but the fans do, so the drivers are going to cooperate. What's your take on all that?
Well, I think that, you know, we all grew up in racing where it was single file restarts, and then double file restarts came along, and I think the fans really like them. It stirs up the pot, and here at Indianapolis it's going to probably stir it up even more, because it's really a one-group racetrack for Indy cars, as opposed to stock cars can still get through too wide and make that work. So it's a little bit different. Plus, if we touch in the Indy cars as opposed to touching in the stock cars, there's a much bigger penalty, and then trying to miss all that is a big deal too. So there's no just bending a fender and moving on. It's usually much more than that. So I think that I can understand the differences and the concerns, but you know, sometimes I think it is what it is, and hopefully, you know, they play to my advantage, and but they're not going to play to my advantage because I've done them before. It'll just be sheer luck if they play to my advantage more than anything else.
What's the future hold for Johnny Andretti? I mean, obviously the fans love to see you back here at Indy every year. You know, you're very adamant that you're a race car driver. You love to come back. You know, do you see yourself transitioning maybe to a mentor? I mean, obviously you're already a mentor to your son, but team owner or series, or I mean, what's the future hold for you?
You know, I really don't know. I think that my son going racing has brought some life into me that I can see post racing. It's always been where I don't know what I wanted to do, because when I got out of the race car, it was going to be going to ground zero. That's why I bought the go-kart, and then but like I said, with my son racing, that's going to help. Racing for Michael has been really good too. Him being a team owner, seeing the transition between, you know, champion driver to team owner. I think that that's been something really good for me, and we've got to talk a lot. And often we come from different points of view, but we've been together so long that we talk about things. So I don't know what it's going to be, but you know, obviously I can't drive forever, because if you could drive forever, Mario would still be driving.
Right. Last question here. Now, through your sponsor, Window World, a fan has an opportunity to win $1 million. Tell us how you're going to make a fan's dream come true and have them win $1 million by you taking the checkered flags on race day.
Well, Window World came up with the concept of the win-win contest, and through the month of April, people could, you know, enter into this contest. And there's been 5 semifinalists through 5 regions that have been selected. Also, 1 military has been selected for their exclusive category. And at the Andretti Autosport pre-race party the night before the 500, we will select the finalists from those 6 people. And that one person, if I win the Indianapolis 500, they win $1 million courtesy of Window World.
There you go, fans. Johnny Andretti trying to make someone rich. Thanks a lot, John.
Thank you.